Whether the JR Pass is worth it for your Japan trip depends upon your itinerary and whether you're looking to save money or for convenience. We'll show you how to calculate whether the JR Pass will save you money versus buying individual train tickets. Then we'll consider the ease of use and convenience provided by the JR Pass. What is the JR Pass? In this video, when we say JR Pass, we are referring to the whole Japan Rail Pass. The JR Pass is available to foreign tourists visiting Japan for sightseeing. It is valid for either 7, 14, or 21 consecutive days. It's a transportation pass that allows for unlimited rides on JR trains, including local, rapid, express, limited express, and Shinkansen bullet trains. However, to ride the Nozomi or the Mizuho bullet trains with the JR Pass, you will have to pay for an additional supplemental ticket above the price of the JR Pass. The JR Pass also allows for the use of local JR buses as well as the Miyajima ferry. The geographical reach of the whole Japan Rail Pass is throughout the entirety of Japan, wherever JR lines run. The ordinary JR Pass allows you to ride in either unreserved cars or reserved ordinary class cars as long as you've made a seat reservation. The green JR Pass allows you to ride in green cars, which are like business class cars and require a seat reservation. How much does the JR Pass cost? For years, it was a no-brainer to get the JR Pass as long as you were traveling at least on the Golden Route from Tokyo to Kyoto to Osaka and back again to Tokyo. However, the price of the JR Pass skyrocketed by 70% in October of 2023. The current prices for the ordinary JR Pass are 7-day 50,000 yen, 14-day 80,000 yen, 21-day 100,000 yen. The green JR Pass costs 7-day 70,000 yen, 14-day 110,000 yen, 21-day 140,000 yen. JR passes for children ages 6 to 11 years old cost half that of adult prices. For children 12 years and up, they pay the full adult price. Children ages 5 years and younger are free, up to 2 children per paying adult. The JR Pass is most helpful for long-distance Shinkansen rides. While the JR Pass covers both Shinkansen trains as well as local trains and buses, it is most helpful for the portion of your trip where you will take long-distance Shinkansen trains. This is because of the huge price difference between riding on a Shinkansen bullet train versus riding local transportation. For example, a bullet train going from Tokyo to Kyoto for a reserved seat in an ordinary car costs around 13,970 yen. While a ride on the Yamanote line within Tokyo costs 210 yen. While it is possible to use a JR Pass on local transportation, it is not worth getting a JR Pass simply to use it within a city. You will not spend 50,000 yen on transportation exploring Tokyo for 1 week. We're going to share 2 ways that you can add up the cost of individual train tickets to compare that to the cost of the JR Pass. This way, you can calculate whether or not the JR Pass is worth it for your Japan trip. But first, let's talk about Klook, the sponsor of this video. Through either the Klook website or mobile app, you can purchase either the JR Pass or individual single-journey Shinkansen train tickets. Klook is a comprehensive travel booking platform, and it's our go-to for booking attractions while traveling throughout Asia. Klook is currently offering an exciting cherry blossom promotion for Japan, Taiwan, and South Korea running through March 10th, 2024. The cherry blossom forecast has been released and full bloom is expected in Tokyo on March 29th, 2024. US residents can save 15% on over 100 tours and activities using coupon code KENSHOQUEST15. For example, our family is interested in the Mount Fuji Flower Festival and Ropeway and Fruit Picking Tour from Tokyo. We'll link to the cherry blossom promotion in the description box below so you can search for the tours and activities that interest you. Now, back to how you can calculate whether the JR Pass is worth it for your Japan trip. Here's an example of how you can add up the cost of Shinkansen bullet train tickets for your trip in order to compare that to the price of the JR Pass. Prices of train tickets do fluctuate, so the numbers given here are merely an example. We're going to start with the most popular itinerary, the Golden Route. Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, Tokyo. For this example, I'm looking at the price of reserved seats in an ordinary class car. When you buy individual Shinkansen tickets, you pay a little bit more to have a seat reservation versus riding in an unreserved car. This is in contrast to the JR Pass, where the cost of seat reservations is already included within the price of the pass. When adding up the cost of Shinkansen train tickets, I use Klook since they offer Shinkansen tickets throughout Japan. Tokyo to Kyoto is 13,850 yen. Kyoto to Shin-Osaka Station is 2,870 yen. Shin-Osaka to Tokyo is 14,920 yen. The total cost of buying individual Shinkansen train tickets is 31,640 yen, while the price of the 7-day ordinary JR Pass is much higher at 50,000 yen. For the Golden Route alone, the JR Pass is not worth it. If you find that the JR Pass is not worth it for your particular Japan trip, be sure to watch our previous video in which we explained how to travel throughout Japan by train without the JR Pass. We went over how to purchase individual Shinkansen train tickets as well as how to pay for local transportation. The second option is to use the JR fare calculator to compare the price of buying individual train tickets versus using the JR Pass. The fare calculator bases the ticket prices on reserved seats in an ordinary car. Again, it's an average since prices do fluctuate. All you need to do is enter in each stop on your itinerary. Here's an example of a round trip where the JR Pass is worth it. Our family used the JR Pass for this route in the spring of 2023. It was a very fast-paced trip, staying only 1 or 2 nights per city. After spending 5 days in Tokyo, we activated our JR passes and took the 9:33 a.m. Hikari Shinkansen from Tokyo to Kyoto. We spent a couple days enjoying Kyoto and then took a Shinkansen to Himeji where we visited Himeji Castle. Then we hopped on the Sanyo Shinkansen to Okayama. From there, we caught an express train to Uno Port. The next day, we headed from Uno out to Naoshima Island to explore art. We were in search of Yayoi Kusama's famous pumpkins. That evening, we took an express train back to Okayama. Then we took a short Shinkansen train to Kurashiki, where we spent the next 2 nights. On the evening of the 5th day, we headed to Hiroshima with plans of visiting Memorial Peace Park as well as Miyajima Island. Those plans fell through, however. You'll have to watch our vlog about our 7-day trip if you want to see why. Instead, we quickly pivoted and headed to Kobe for the day. That's the beauty of having a JR Pass. After spending the day in Kobe, we headed to Osaka to spend the night. On the 7th and final day, we headed back towards Tokyo. However, we stopped off at Ito to visit Misora. Later that night, we arrived at Tokyo Station, ending our 7-day train trip. Here are the main stops we took along the way. Most of these were by Shinkansen bullet trains. Tokyo, Kyoto, Shin-Osaka, Himeji, Naoshima, Kurashiki, Hiroshima, Kobe, Osaka, Tokyo. The total cost of buying individual tickets would have been 60,960 yen. It was well worth getting the JR Pass, even at the current price of 50,000 yen. If that itinerary was a little too out there and complicated for you, here's a simplified version. Tokyo, Kyoto, Shin-Osaka, Hiroshima, Himeji, Tokyo. This would cost 52,380 yen if buying individual Shinkansen tickets, so you will save money by buying the 7-day JR Pass at 50,000 yen. And we have a video explaining that itinerary. Now here's an example of a one-way route where it's worth it to use the JR Pass. You arrive at Kansai Airport in Osaka and spend a few days enjoying the Kansai area. For this portion of your trip, you could simply use an IC card, an ICOCA card for local transportation among Osaka, Kyoto, Nara. Then activate your 7-day JR Pass on the day you leave Osaka. You will have time to spend 1 or 2 nights in these various places along the way. Shin-Osaka, Himeji, Hiroshima, Miyajima Island, Kagoshima, Beppu, Hakata. The total cost of individual tickets is 54,990 yen, so it would be a cost savings to get the JR Pass. Then you can either fly home from Fukuoka or take the ferry to Busan, South Korea, although that ferry is not included in the JR Pass. Let's expand upon that previous example into a 14-day trip. This itinerary will start in Tokyo and end in Tokyo. From Tokyo, head south to the Kansai area where you enjoy Osaka, Kyoto, and Nara, and then continue on south. Tokyo, Shin-Osaka, Himeji, Hiroshima, Miyajima Island, Kagoshima, Beppu, Hakata, Tokyo. Now you're starting to see even larger savings. It would cost 97,700 yen for individual tickets versus 80,000 yen for a 14-day JR pass. Now let's add in Nagoya so you can visit Ghibli Park, which we highly recommend. Now the cost of individual train tickets would be even more. The total would be 104,700 yen. That's versus 80,000 yen for a 14-day pass or 100,000 yen for a 21-day pass. You'd save with either the 14 or 21-day pass. What we've learned here is that the longer your trip and the more stops you make along the way, the more likely you are to save money with the JR Pass. This is because the price of the JR Pass goes up in smaller increments when going from a 7-day to a 14-day to a 21-day pass. If it turns out that the JR Pass is worth it for your Japan trip, we'll link to where you can order the JR Pass below. Remember, it's important to purchase your JR Pass before you arrive in Japan. As of October 2023, you can no longer purchase it in person in Japan. When people ask us whether the JR Pass is worth it for their Japan trip, we could use a bit of clarification. Are you simply looking to save money by purchasing the JR Pass? Or are you interested in convenience and flexibility in your travel plans? The JR Pass can be one of the easiest ways to travel Japan by train. The original intent of the JR Pass was not only to offer a cost savings, but also to majorly simplify train travel for foreign tourists. A JR Pass can allow you to easily hop on and off JR trains without even knowing how to purchase a train ticket. Modern JR passes are the size and shape of a train ticket and can be fed through the automatic ticket gates. Many Shinkansen bullet trains, as well as limited express trains, have both unreserved and reserved cars. For riding in an unreserved car, it's a first-come, first-served basis. If you're one of the first people onto the train, you can grab a seat. However, if you're a bit later and all the seats are full, then you end up standing in the aisle. For riding in a reserved car, you must first make a seat reservation. This can be done at a ticketing office, a ticketing machine, or online. With a JR Pass, if you want to ride in an unreserved car of a JR train, all you need to do is insert your JR Pass into the automatic ticket gate, proceed to the platform, and board the train. Easy peasy. If you want to use your JR Pass to ride in a reserved car, then you need to first make a seat reservation. This process is similar to if you were purchasing train tickets. But you don't have to pay anything extra since you already have a JR Pass. If you miss a train reservation you made with a JR Pass, it's not a big deal. If you have time, go ahead and cancel that reservation. Then you can either make a new reservation for a later train or simply hop on the next train in an unreserved car. The JR Pass allows you to easily pivot and change your travel plans. Perhaps you thought you'd be catching a 3 p.m. train to your next destination, but you're ready a bit early and instead you're able to get on a 2 p.m. train. Or you plan to spend the day visiting one city, but due to unforeseen closures or weather, you need to change plans and visit a different city. You don't have to worry about wasting an expensive Shinkansen ticket. Your JR Pass will take you wherever you need to go. Compared to purchasing a regional JR Pass, with the whole Japan Rail Pass, you can ride pretty much any JR train in Japan. So it's super straightforward, it just has to be JR to be included. Versus when you buy a regional pass, you need to figure out exactly which trains are or are not included in that pass. Because of the flexibility and convenience provided by the JR Pass, if we were to add up the numbers for our own trip and it was going to cost us a bit more for the JR Pass versus buying individual tickets, we would still get the JR Pass for that peace of mind. After you add up your particular itinerary, let us know in the comments below. Is the JR Pass worth it for your Japan trip? We share tons here on Kensho Quest to help you travel throughout Japan with ease. If you haven't already, please watch our previous video where we explained how to travel Japan by train without the JR Pass. Or you could watch our series on traveling with luggage in Japan. Please subscribe for more travel tips and inspiration.